All right, what's up, everybody? This is the Awesemo.com live before lock show. It's just me today. As you can see, there's my alert that says we're live. We will have Alex Awesemo Baker on the show in about 10 or so minutes. We'll get Alex on here talking this slate and just anything. So be sure to, what's up, Chad? Be sure to get your questions in at about 6:15 Eastern. We'll have Alex, one of the best players in DFS, answering some questions. He didn't tell me this, but I'm sure he would like to answer more strategy specific questions rather than either ors for the slate. It's a four-gamer. You can basically make a case for most players. Hitters especially, but it's just strategy questions. You use this time wisely. He's here to answer your questions, and don't waste it with either ors. How are you all doing in the chat? There's a few of you stumbling in here. I doubt we're gonna have a huge crowd just because of the nature of the slate, and all the games are out. All the lineups are out. So I don't know what there is to talk about. Like, what do you guys want to talk about? Because I've got all my lineups in. I can show you my crunch if you want to see that. I've got Fantasy Cruncher loaded up with the crunch that I just put in. So I'm all good to go. I'm pretty much all yours. Do you guys plan on doing more with the lineup builder, like diversification? What do you mean diversification? Like randomness on Fantasy Cruncher kind of thing? Yeah, the 50-cent DK mini max. So I'm playing really light volume tonight just because it's not a great slate, and everyone's on the same people that I kind of am. So I don't like slates like that. Like, everyone's gonna be on Glass now. I think Cahill's gonna go a little under owned, but we have him only at like 7. What's up, Jake? Been watching for a month, but never created a channel until now. Oh, thanks, man. Oh, wow. Bunch of questions. All right. So, what was I talking about? Oh, yeah. Cahill's going to go, I think, a little bit under-owned. So that's where I think I have a little bit of an edge. I like him more than the field. We have him under 10% right now. I don't know if that'll hold up, but Cahill looks like a pretty solid play to me. And I know the home road splits, but I'm going with the talent. I'm hoping the talent wins out. And, it's not great hitting weather here in Minneapolis. Like, it's mid-70s. It's nothing crazy. It's not Texas. He should be able to pitch decently well based on the conditions. So, yeah. All right, let's look at the chat. Let's see what we got going on here. Second most exposed pitcher, that's Cahill. I just kind of talked about him, so I won't talk about him right now. We'll wait until more people get in. Even if Glasnow is chalk, is he just eat the chalk kind of pitcher? Yeah, I'm eating the chalk. So I think I'll come in a little bit overweight on him. I thought about just lock buttoning Glasnow, but I ended up not doing that. So I think I'm about two-thirds of my lineups have Glasnow on him. And this is talking DK. On FanDuel, I think Glasnow would be a pretty good lock button candidate if I was playing FanDuel. What about this Reds as a leverage stack? Yeah, so the Reds are actually, I think, my third most owned stack. So I'll go to my crunch right here. Yeah, so they are second, actually. So I'm doing 4-3-1s tonight. I'm just trying it out. And I think everyone else is going to run 5s tonight. I think that's fine. But just hoping no 5-man stack goes nuts and that we get kind of a mix of a bunch of teams doing well and no one really breaking free. So Braves, your highest owned stack. Yes. As you can see, the Braves are my highest owned stack right here. And then the Reds. And I actually do have a bunch of Hamels too. So let's see. Yeah, 27%. I think that's a little bit under the field based on what we have for Hamels right now. Someone can confirm or deny. I don't want to put up the ownership projections on this screen since this is a free show. I don't want to give away too much, but I think he was around 30, maybe 35. You might have to ramble a little. Ramble. There will be new touts added. Is it going to be holding people? FanVice, deeper dive from FanVice. The DFS GOAT, is this going to be where people come who watch the deeper dive from FanVice? That's what it's looking at. I don't know how much I can comment on this or what, but yeah, we're supposed to bring some of their guys over. You can read it in the article on our homepage. You can kind of read the details about that whole situation. Chris Davis, Big Dong, yeah, love that guy once again. So I got a bunch of Chris Davis. Glasnow's birthday today. There's a narrative. If you guys, Frank DeLuca, what are you talking about? Yeah, Glasnow, if you need another reason to play him, it's his birthday. How much salary are you comfortable leaving on the table on a night like this? I mean, 2,000. I think I don't know that you need to leave salary on the table, but it's just on a short slate. It's always a good. I think it's always at least smart to think about. It's just a way to differentiate, and like salary's pretty soft tonight on DK, so it's not the worst idea. I don't think. Like I have a bunch of lineups that have like 1,000 left over and such, 800 left over. So, yeah, I'm doing it. Like I put my minimum at 2,000. So I guess 2,000 would be my. I mean, just got an ownership update. If you guys have premium, by the way. Getting to your stack question was random a little. Like in the early slate, I stacked White Sox and it wasn't great, but. Okay, I don't know what that means. Two pitcher site, should they equal 100% or 200%? Are you talking about my exposures for pitcher? This should equal 200%. There's two pitchers, get 100% of each spot. Is there a way to set up alerts when there are updates to rankings and ownership projections? I don't believe we have them now. I mean, we have them, but I don't believe subscribers have them just yet. So I'll just keep telling you guys if we get ranking or ownership updates as we go. And if you're premium, you can check on your own. So I'm not checking for everyone. By the way, if you're not an Osmo Premium member, you can go to osmo.com right here. Click on, you guys can see this, right? Yeah, you guys can see this. Click on the Premium tab. You can check out everything we have to offer. So that's the All Access Premium. Yeah, that's a, I agree, Caesar. I agree. That's a pretty good idea. So I think we've mentioned that. There's just, obviously, you guys know this has been a pretty fast-paced time for us. So really exciting time and such, but we're working on a bunch of things. So we'll definitely keep that in mind, Caesar. Kick's good. What's up? My advice would be to get out of the $1,500 if you can't figure out which pitcher you want on a 4-game slate. Yeah. Yeah, I would get out of a $1,500 tournament. I mean, unless you just have way too much money that you know what to do with, then sure, you could throw around $1,500. But I mean, I wouldn't throw around $1,500 and not know what I was doing. So, what's your highest owned hitter tonight? I think it's Suarez, and that'll come as no shock to you guys. Yeah, right here. Eugenio Suarez. So I spread around the ownership with my hitters Yeah, the prices did go up. We told, I think we told you guys that like a month ago that they were going up before football, and so give me the money. I'll figure out what's starting pitcher for us. Real Muto double dong for show. Yeah, I mean I hope so. I've got a bunch of Real Muto, so I am overweight on the Marlins. So I wasn't getting a lot of Marlins when I first started crunching. So I did like however many crunches, like 10 or 12, to try to get kind of what I was envisioning. And yeah, I was only getting like a couple two mans of the Marlins, so I decided to do 4-3-1. I like how that looks. So like I'm getting so like you just see in this lineup 120 right here, like Real Muto, Castro, Anderson. I really like those three as a stack, so I think I'm getting a handful of them together. Hamels Velo going up every game. Roids. That's kind of a accusation I'm not willing to make, but let's call Alex right now. Yeah, let's get Alex on. You guys can ask him your questions. Let me move this over here. All right. Oh, he's got to accept my invitation. All right, we'll get him on here in a second. There we go.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good. How about you?
Good, good. All right, let's get you on the screen here. There we go.
All right, awesome. Hey guys, how's it going? Really excited to be on the stream, especially this week has been really big with the FanDuel deal and our new lineup builder. So I'm happy to answer some questions there. Also talk about tonight's slate.
Awesome. Yeah, so Alex Osmo Baker, this is our boss, well, my boss. So I told these guys to get ready with some questions for you.
Awesome.
And one question that I kind of want to start out with, and maybe I've asked you this before, but how does your approach change on like 4 and 5 gamers compared to like the 10 to 14 that we have most other nights?
Yeah, every slate's different, so this 4 game slate is particularly interesting because you have such high projected team totals for a couple teams, and then you have the opposite end of the spectrum where there are 3 teams that are projected to do kind of like crummy tonight. So like you have some really high end pitchers and some really high end batters, and what we're finding is that the ownership is really concentrated among the players on those teams and those pitchers. So that gives you kind of an opportunity to use some strategy to kind of outsmart everyone.
Nice. Yeah. So concentrated ownership, I think people don't leverage that as much as they probably should on these short slates. We get this one a lot, Alex. What's the best way to put value on the points grades and value grades?
Okay, so this is something that we're really working on improving the user experience. And if you go to our lineup builder, that kind of gives you a glimpse of how you should use the points and value grids. So right now, you build your lineup. It tells you like a GPA. The GPA is based on a salary weighted value for your lineup. So if you spend all the money and it's all like B grades, that'd be like a 3.0. If you spend like 95% of the money, all B grades, it's a little less because you don't have as much value in there. And then it also ranks your ownership versus the ownership of the average lineup on today's slate. So I'll put in my 9 players. They'll tell me, this one is 6% more chalky or more contrarian than your average lineup. And one of the features that we're working on getting in that's not in yet is comparing your value to the average lineup. If you use Excel, you can calculate that based on the ownership and grades that we put up on the site, but it's not actually displayed on the optimizer. So that kind of is a glimpse into how I think the grades and ownership can be applied the best is kind of finding those lineups where you can get a higher than average value, but also like maintain some good contrariness to your lineup as well.
Nice. This is a good one from Will Griffey. Should we adjust our approach as the season winds down, considering teams not in contention, elite pitcher innings, et cetera, et cetera?
I think in baseball, there's so much that's just chance. So, like for batters, I wouldn't really count that very much because, I mean, someone's mindset's gonna not gonna change like how many millimeters off they are, you know. So it's like the players really aren't in control of enough of what's going on to really have a narrative impact. But then when it comes to managing decisions, like how many innings a pitcher's going to throw, I think that absolutely could be a factor. The best way to figure that out is probably just by going through game logs and see how many pitches each pitcher has thrown in their recent games and see if you can find a trend there.
Awesome. 4-game slate, better to still stack or go mini stacks to cover more per game? So kind of how are you spreading out exposure differently on a 4-gamer?
So what I'm finding in my lineups today is I'm still stacking a normal amount. I'm really focusing on some teams that I think there's an edge to be had. I think that my prevailing wisdom now is that you can use some different stacking strategies in any size slate. With a 4-game slate, it's no exception, but still having some correlation among your lineup that does help you win a GPP or something.
Okay.
But then, I mean, maybe the rest of your lineup's not as good if you force a correlation of players that aren't good. So there's some balance there.
Yeah. Let's see what we got here. Oh, we could ask you this. Is anybody concerned about Miami retaliating against after the Urena hit on Acuna? Like, is that something? How can you quantify something like that?
That is a great question. So would it be Atlanta that would be retaliating then? I'm confused.
Right. So yeah, Jose Urena being Acuna on the first pitch of the game after a bunch of leadoff home runs in a row. So is there a way you can quantify that, or is that all noise? Is that just something you would not even consider?
I think there is something to that because I remember one game last year where Syndergaard threw a pitch like behind someone and it was tossed like really early in the game. Or there's another game where like Julio Teheran like hit the dude in the first inning or something like that. So it's like there is something to the idea that the pitcher might get thrown out, but I haven't been following it closely. Maybe that's some way you could get an edge over me.
All right. Yeah, that's not something I thought of. Okay, what else do we have on this slate? Do you want to talk, give like any nuggets from your perfect pitcher article? You want to just kind of describe what that is for maybe people that don't have a premium subscription?
Sorry, I lost it there. What were we talking about, the article?
Yeah, the perfect pitcher. Just you want to like give a quick description in your words, what it is and how it can be useful to people that might not subscribe but are maybe looking to subscribe?
Yes. So the perfect pitcher, I'm ranking each pitcher's probability of being the top pitcher on FanDuel or one of the top 2 on DraftKings, kind of with the idea that you're going to need the top 2 pitchers in your lineup to win on a given slate, especially on one this small. So I actually have kind of revised my thinking since I wrote the article. So in the article, I recommended that Tyler Glasnow is kind of a lock, and I'm finding he's in a huge majority of my lineups still. I was kind of going between Hamels, Newcomb, and Duffy for my SP2 on DraftKings. But since I wrote the article, the ownership has changed on our website, so we update that pretty often before lock. And I found that Danny Duffy's ownership has gone down and Glasnow has gone up. And the effect there is that I think Glasnow is still a really good play based on the strikeout potential and the value, but Duffy is a better play than he had been because he's like the best value and he helps you get in those expensive bats. The only concern I had was that his ownership was like 52% projected on DraftKings. Now it's dropped to like the 40s last time I checked, so I think he's a better play.
Nice. And then, so you're going to be doing articles for NFL season. I'm not on the NFL side for anyone that doesn't know, but I will be playing and reading your articles. So what kind will you be doing for NFL? Caesar asked.
Yeah, I'm open to the ideas. We haven't really come up with a plan there that's really precise, but I think that the response to the articles about baseball, where it's like top pitcher, top stacks, that kind of approach would work well in football as well because you're trying to figure out the top running back or the top handcuff and stuff like that. So I think that could be pretty cool.
Nice. What's the best university course to take to gain a rudimentary understanding of statistics? That's kind of an interesting one.
Any statistics course that you won't fall asleep in, because that's a big problem.
Yeah, I was actually good at statistics though, so that was always interesting to me. But I was a communications major, so I was kind of all over the board. Like maybe I just chose. Maybe I could be like you if I would have done a statistics major.
I think you still could be. Like, you have a young talent here, you're working your way up, so it's not really as much about like being a master of statistics as just applying the basics well.
Okay. Here we go. Fun one. Couple fun ones. Is a hot dog a sandwich, cheese nips, or cheese its? 2-part question, and then we'll do home runs and get you out of here.
All right, thanks, man. So, man, I would have to look up sandwich. I don't like to speak on issues I'm not very qualified on, but since I'm put on the spot here, I will say no, it's not a sandwich because actually now that I think about it, I'm thinking, well, I was thinking a sandwich has like two like pieces of bread and there's something in between it.
Right.
A hot dog is kind of one piece that's like folded, so I'm not sure that qualifies. But then I'm thinking like maybe like people make sandwiches with like tortillas or something, which is kind of equivalent. But my initial inclination is no.
Right.
As far as the Cheez-Its, I don't even know what cheese nips are, so I'll have to go with Cheez-Its.
So Cheez-Its for you.
Yes.
Nice.
Well, how about you? What do you think here?
Cheez-Its for me too. That's pretty easy. And then I'm with you on the hot dog not being a sandwich. So actually, one more quick one, kind of interesting. Did you start off with a poor man's bankroll, or did you kind of build up with an initial investment? I know the answer to this, but I want to hear you kind of talk through your poker background.
Yeah, so that's a great question because I'm sure it applies to everyone kind of getting started in DFS today. I had been grinding poker full time, like 40 hours a week online, and then I heard DFS was the next big thing, and this dude retired from poker who was better than me to play DFS. I'm like, what am I doing, right? So I really approached it as a professional from the beginning, kind of getting my feet wet until I saw a trend that I was winning. And then as I started building up more money in my account, I just upped my play each night, kind of organically growing. But I was able to take more risks than your typical guy because I'd done pretty well in poker. You know, I wasn't Chris Moneymaker or anything, but I was making some money, so I had some good amount to invest initially.
Nice. All right. Well, those are all great answers. Thanks for joining, Alex. And on your way out, you can give your home run pick. I'm sure people are going to start throwing their hot take home run picks in the chat, but you lead it off.
So the team I'm really recommending tonight I recommend the Braves and the Oakland A's. So I will go with my highest owned player of those two teams, which right now is Matt Chapman.
Oh, I love it. All right, I'm going with Eugenio Suarez off Cole Hamels as leverage. So I've got a bunch of Suarez. So I hope we're both right. Actually, I got a bunch of Chapman as well. So
it's hopefully not too many people are listening to this and then go with Suarez and Chapman in their lineup because that could be kind of unusual pairing.
Yeah, that would be quite the unusual pairing. All right, Alex, thanks for joining us. We will get you on next week, right? Next week.
Yeah, every week.
Or
Yeah, especially now we're planning to do more shows throughout the day.
yeah,
Especially like incorporating some of the new fan vice guys. So we're really excited to be able to provide a lot more content. Hopefully I can be involved in some of that. And thanks everyone for watching the stream and asking these great questions.
awesome. Alex, Osmo, Baker, you guys, thanks for the questions. We'll see you soon, Alex, next week. Thanks for joining.
All right, thanks, Jake.
All right. Nice job, guys. Had a fun question there at the end, so thanks to, I think that was Will. Will had a couple nice ones in there, so let me see if I can get back to the. All right, yeah. So this is the interview we did with Alex. It was me, Chris, and Josh, and we did this in June. So I'm gonna post this link right now if you want to learn more kind of about Alex's background. We asked him a ton of questions. It was about an hour-long interview, 49 minutes, a little shorter than an hour. So I'm going to post this right now, actually.
Now for a limited time.
Post this link in the chat. There you guys go. So if you want to check that out after the chat, feel free to do so. Yeah, Alex's home run pick was Chapman. So now we're back on the. Ooh, I'm a little bit too big on this screen. Let's see. Let's shrink myself so you guys can see more of the screen and less of me. All right. Did Alex like Duffy over Glass now? From my understanding, he likes both of them. You still think, yeah. Okay, so he just answered you in the chat. Louis or Luis. Hey, Jake, for FanDuel, am I being ridiculous to use Merrifield as a one-off if I go with Glass now as my pitcher? So that, thanks, Shark, by the way. Yeah, I thought that was a really fun stream. I learned a lot as well. And you can see me learning on the stream, like writing down notes and stuff in that video. So that was really cool for me, and I'm sure for some of you guys too. Am I being ridiculous to use Merrifield as a one-off if I go with Glass now as my pitcher? I mean, so I don't think that's crazy. So if this were like a 3-game slate, that's usually my cutoff. Like 4-game slates, I usually do not have any hitters against my pitchers. 3-game slate, okay, maybe I start to understand it. 2-game slate for sure. But so the reason you're playing Merrifield, and if you watched the show earlier, we mentioned how bad Glasnow is at holding runners. If Merrifield gets on, he's got like I think over 30 stolen bases this year. If he gets on, he's probably at least attempting to steal. And Glasnow's delivery is so slow, just like a long stride, long delivery. He's probably swiping a base, and he could very well swipe third too. So, I mean, that's obviously negatively correlated with Glasnow doing well, because if all of a sudden he walks Merrifield to start off the game, now Merrifield's on third with no out, he's probably allowing a run unless he strikes out the side or something. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't hate it. Like, I just don't think there's necessarily a need to do it. So they're just not correlated together into DFS point, like maximum DFS points. So that's my long-winded answer. I wouldn't do it, but I don't think you're crazy. I'm finding I'm leaving quite a bit of salary tonight, I guess because of Glasnow. Yeah, so we hit on that earlier, that you can definitely leave salary on the table tonight, especially if you're not going with Hamels or Cahill up top. I'm leaving up to 2,000 on the table, but I have no issue if you want to use up all the salary. Like, I don't think it's that soft where you like I'm forcing myself to leave salary on the table, like, because there are some slates like that where the pricing's just too soft. All the expensive guys are going to be super highly owned, and I just need to be different. So yeah, it's kind of kind of just have to feel out the slate. And tonight, I'm certainly comfortable leaving a little bit of salary on the table. Isn't leaving 2,000 insane? I mean, I don't think so. On short slates where, there's no pitchers priced up over 10-4, right? Hamels is the highest priced pitcher. So you do like Hamels and Duffy or something like that, it's pretty easy to get a full stack and still leave salary. So yeah, I don't think it's insane. Flowers or Lucroy? That would be Flowers for me. Well, actually, let me check. Flowers or Lucroy? Who do I have more of? Oh, never mind. They're close, but Flowers 9%, Lucroy 13. So it's really close. I purposely spread out my catcher exposure besides Real Muto. So you said you were running 4-3s. What are your thoughts on 5-2s over 4s? Yeah, 5-2 is a stack that I run all the time as well. So I've absolutely no issue with that. I think I won. So I think it was on Friday. I think I was running 5-2s on Friday. It just depends how much you want to spread your ownership around. 5-2s, there's nothing wrong with it. 4-4, 5-2, 5-3. It doesn't make that big of a difference for me. I know most people that are playing DFS seriously are stacking 5-mans. All right. I'm supposed to get a bed delivered to my house, so I'm hoping that's not coming right now because that'd be pretty awkward to get up and leave to have to go answer the door. So if you see me looking at my phone, that's probably what it is. Jake, is it worth getting Fantasy Cruncher if you're not playing 150 lineups every night? I think so. So we have very good ownership projections. However, if we didn't, I'd say a good way to find out ownership is just to run an optimizer like Fantasy Cruncher, just without any settings in, and see like kind of who's coming up the most, who's underpriced. You can tell the values pretty easily once you run a crunch of even like 10 or 20 lineups. So, I would say yes. Since I've had Fantasy Cruncher, I've had nothing but positive experiences. So I think it's doable. I'm not going to be MMEing every night for hockey, but I will definitely be using Fantasy Cruncher every single night, whether it's MMEing on the nights that I do or using the Fantasy Cruncher Rewind, which is a really valuable tool. In a 4-man Atlanta stack, would you prefer using 1 through 4 or 1, 3, and 5? So you're basically asking the 4-hitter against the 5-hitter? So Markakis against Camargo? I like Markakis better, but it just depends on your preference, and they're different positions, so it's not like you have to choose between one or the other. And if you're torn, just run a 5-man with Camargo and Markakis. Go 1 through 5. What else do we have in here? You guys are quiet after Alex left. Justin King. Oh, this is a pretty good question. I don't know if I have a real answer, but I can ramble on for a minute. So a general question, but I get discouraged doing this as a hobby. You guys playing basically for a living, do you ever have bad stretches that make you doubt continuing to play? It's a good question. So I wouldn't say doubt continuing to play, for me at least. I know some people have, but yeah, I was in a terrible stretch before this last weekend. I was in one of my worst stretches all season. You go through and you don't bank anything. You don't do just nothing falls your way, and that's just variance depending on the sport. And maybe it's not variance. Maybe you have a bad model or a bad process, and you need to be refining that. So when I'm going through bad stretches, I'm trying to work as hard as I can to try to figure out what I may be doing wrong, and just not to plug Fantasy Cruncher all day, but you can use Fantasy Cruncher Rewind to figure some of that stuff out. So, I mean, you just sometimes it's just variance. Sometimes it's something in your process that you may be doing inefficiently. I find myself being more successful when making 20 lineups instead of 150. I feel like when I make 150, I make lineups that are just garbage, versus when I make 20, I focus on what I like. I mean, it's like there are so many different ways to play DFS. There's single entry, there's 3 max, there's 20 max, which I think is really good for anyone. I mean, you could put $80 into the, what is it? Not the 4-check. I'm in hockey mode. It's the 4-seamer. $4 tournament on DK. You can put $80 in there, max the tournament. So no one has more entries than you. Like, you have the maximum entries, and you can get pretty decent exposure to the teams you want to. Like, if you want to go all in on a team, you can go all in on a team. If you want to go and main stack 5 teams, you can go 10 main stacks of your favorite team and 5 main stacks of another team and 5 main stacks of another team. So it's just like, I love the 20 max. I'm a huge supporter of that. I do them all the time. So if that works for you and you want to hand build, or you can use Cruncher or a different optimizer for 20 max, doesn't matter. Just find what works for you and keep doing it. You're going to do crunches for hockey like Josh does for MLB for everyone to see? I don't know. It's a good question, Jason. I haven't really thought about that. I haven't thought about how the streams are going to go. Definitely we'll consider that, Jason. Did I say Justin last time? Good answer to my big question. Love the data and lineup construction of MLB, but I'm curious. I'm in a serious suck stretch. Yep. It takes one night to turn it around, though, if you're playing tournaments. That's why I like the big nights make up for it. So, are Reds too contrarian in the $22 GPP on FanDuel? No, I don't think so. I love the Reds tonight. I'm under the field on Hamels according to our ownership, and then I have a bunch of Reds and a bunch of Eugenio Suarez. So he's my highest exposed hitter on the slate. Yep, right there, 35%. So no, I don't like the Reds have speed too, and Hamels struggles to hold runners. So they've got Peraza and Hamilton up top. Speed is really underrated when people are looking at stacks. So if they can somehow get on against Hamels, which is going to be tough, Hamels looks awesome, but if they can get on, they got a great chance to get some steals. No Contreras in that Cubs lineup either, and he's just got a cannon behind the plate there. Matt Olson or Fredward Freeman tonight? That's Freddie for me. That's close though. I love both of those guys. But yeah, Freddie is, as you can see, one of my highest exposed players as well. Josh was mentioning the other day how you assaulted the mini-max. Did you take down first, if you don't mind me asking? Yeah, I took down first, and then I had a couple other top 10s or top 5s. Yeah. It was a really good night. All right. Is Acuna not owned tonight? I mean, I think he's fairly highly owned. I won't do it on this screen. I don't want to show off everything this close to lock, but let me check on that. We can give a couple players away, give you a sneak peek, kind of. Find main slate. We'll do a Acuna. No, I mean he's not like going overlooked or anything. Like he's under 20, just under 20%. Yeah, 18%. There you go. I had 52% of Moreland this morning. Yeah. So I didn't see the game, but I just he like got on base and then he was out for the game. One of my DFS buddies texted me, or not texted me. He messaged me on a group me or something and said that Moreland's out. He asked, did you have a lot of Moreland? Because he knew I went like all in on the Red Sox, and I said, yeah, why? I thought he like donged or something, and sure enough, he's out for the game in the first inning. Jake, did Spags go to do his own thing now? No, Spags is no. Spags is on vacation. Spags, yeah. Wait, what? Spags has his own email list. That's why. What do you mean? Where's Sean V today? And is Victor Reyes? See, I remembered that from last night. If anybody was in chat, Sean V was touting Victor Reyes. He's not here today though. I don't know where he's at. Philip Irvin love. Yeah. I mean, I like the Reds, and Irvin's got a little bit of power, so no problem with Philip Irvin. Yeah, I think I'm gonna be easily over the field. So gotta go. Oh. All right, see you, Brandon. I'm just kidding about the Sean V thing. He always touts his wins, so might as well come in and own your losses, I guess. Right? That's what we do, or at least try to do. I lost $1 million because of him. Who'd you lose $1 million because of? Oh, does it come like from Chris at Osmo.com? Is that Kevin? Sue him. Yeah, you guys can DM me. I don't mind. Feel free to DM me. Someone. Oh, Shark. Do your close friends play DFS? Ask advice from you from time to time. I mean, some of them dabble. Mostly like NFL. Like I'd say maybe once a month I'll get like a text about DFS from my like close group of friends. But no, I mean, it's only me. It's weird because it's like it's right up their alley, but they don't play it. They love the season long for some reason. CJ Cron shares. Let's see. 5%. Can you see that? 5%. Let me pull my screen up. Oh, I'm not playing FanDuel. Loose screw. Did you really, Jason Kelly? That's nice. GPP. Nice. Which GPP? Rizzo or Freeman? That's Freeman for me. Should I pay down for Bowers to fit in Markakis over Inciarte? Would be fading Rizzo. No, I mean, pay down for Bowers to fit in Markakis in over Inciarte would be fading. Wait, what does Rizzo have to do with that? I don't know. I mean, I like Markakis over Inciarte, if that's what you're saying, if that's what you're asking. We talked about that one, Alexander. Talked about Merrifield against Glass now because of the stolen base upside. But no, I'm not doing it, but I don't think you're crazy for playing one hitter against your pitcher in that rare case. Yeah, that was it. I mean, we just didn't agree. I don't know. I probably shouldn't comment on that, but no, we all like Manny. There's no hard feelings. He went and did his own thing. Like, good for him. Got to do what you think is right, right? What do you think of having? Oh wait, I answered that one. I took on the early slate this morning. Did you? Nice. I don't know how to pronounce your name. Rajman? Nice. With Rizzo, you're going to have to hope for the 1-for-5 home run. I mean, that's everyone, right? I'll take 1-for-5 with the home run every single night from every one of my players, and I'll make all the money. Got a feeling Rizzo blows tonight, even though I have a lot of him. I don't know. Tony's in the building. What's up, Big T? How you doing, man? Your favorite shortstop? Hard position for me. Let's go to shortstop. Peraza, Baez, Camargo. Wow. 3 guys at 25%. Look at that. Polanco. Cahill's got some stolen base issues as well. So Polanco, some stolen base upside. There's quite a bit of options at shortstop. I mean, not a shortage over there. Hard position for me. Suarez over Olsen on FanDuel utility. Yeah, I think Suarez is like one of my favorite tournament plays tonight. As you can see, he's one of my most exposed players. Portillo's last night. How'd you like it, Aaron D? Yeah, Portillo's is the best. I love Portillo's. I don't get to eat it though because we just have one, I think, maybe 2 in Minneapolis. They just put them in like a year ago. So yeah, I like Portillo's is just like the biggest treat when I go to Illinois. Favorite catcher? Real Muto. It's Real Muto. Still there? I wish the Minimax stayed unfilled as long as it did yesterday. What do you mean, Ryan B? Did it fill? Buffalo Sabres. It's going to probably be another rough season. There's actually a kid from that I kind of know on the Buffalo Sabres. I guess I don't really know him. Just went to the same school. Is Duffy a good tourney play? He's going to be pretty highly owned, so I would not. I mean, he's a fine play. He's cheap enough, and he's in a good enough matchup. I'm a little worried about him coming off the DL. I know Alex wasn't that worried about him, so I mean, I would go with Alex's advice if I were you, but I'm not playing. I'm under the field on Duffy. That's for sure. What happened to the Minimax? Oh, that's for Friday. Oops, there's the perfect picture article. Let me buy some tickets. What does that mean? Just joining. Oh, is that T5 from Manny Stream? What's up? Thoughts on all-in strategy on a 4-game slate? I mean, I have no issue with that on a 4-game slate. I mean, I go all in all the time. Yeah, so I went all in on the Red Sox this morning. It doesn't work out a bunch of the times, but just ownership is going to be more. Ownership is going to be more concentrated. Is the word I'm looking for. But no issue going all in. If you really love a team, and let's say they're going to be 7% owned on a 10-game slate, then by all means, like, play a bunch of different stacks of them. If you think the field is missing on someone, you should be getting as much of an edge as you're comfortable with. Oh, I was talking about my crowns and DK. Is that a lot? I have no idea. What do people have for crowns? With a small bankroll, what percentage would you play per night? 25, 30? Any Desclafani? I'll answer that quick. Yeah, a little bit of Desclafani, like more than I expected. I think I had like 11%, which, whatever. It's just decent leverage on the Cubs. I don't really like Desclafani, but that's what the optimizer gave me, and I didn't want to recrunch. I wanted to be done crunching so I could pay attention to you guys and just talk with you guys. So I didn't crunch again, but I would have less Desclafani, like almost 0, if I were to do it again. Bankroll. What percentage would I play? I mean, so like if you have $100, I would be playing like the solo shot and quarter arcade maybe. So that's 25, right? So I would play 20 lineups in the quarter, 20 lineups in the solo, or just maybe the quarter if you want, and just go play your 20 there and try to grind your way up into the $1 and then the $2 and then whatever the four seamer. Once you build up to 100, 200, 500, $1,000 hopefully. So yeah, I mean, there's not really a right or wrong answer for bank, because your bankroll is technically like how much you would play until you stopped playing. So it's a different number for everyone. You might put $100 in your account, but if you lose it, you might put another 100 right back in the next week or whatever. All right, let's see what you guys are saying in here. You like Kepler Cave over Peraza. Points, not position. I like Peraza. I have the most Peraza there. It's a bad idea to have 100% glass now. No, I considered it myself, but I did not ultimately end up there because I wanted exposure to Hamels. I wanted exposure to Cahill, which I have a ton of. So I'm about 65% glass now. I don't know. You guys know. You probably saw my screen. Dwayne, what's up? You're a little late. Got 10 minutes to lock? Or what, 15? Yeah, I like Cahill a lot. He's my second highest exposed player on the slate. Yeah, I mean, it's whatever you're comfortable with playing. There's no right or wrong answer. Justin Hansen, I'm new to doing mass entry on DK with Fantasy Cruncher. How do you update all 150 lineups on DK if you decide to recrunch closer to lock? You know, here, there's an article on this. I think it's called like CSV Edit. Let's search CSV Edit DraftKings. Yeah, okay, so this was written in 2016. I'm pretty sure it still holds up. So let me post a link to this article, Justin, and you can read this. It walks you through it. I could explain it, but this like gives you literally screenshots of the art, like of what exactly what you're supposed to do. So let me know if that works for you. If not, you can hit me up on Twitter. My Twitter handle is @Jakehari, Jakehari. Just DM me or whatever. I've had a bunch of people ask me that. So that's the article I send them, and they're usually good to go after that. Anyone else excited for FanDuel in Texas now? I am not a Fortnite pro. No, I mean, I play every once in a while, but what was the highest percent of team exposure you had when you won the Minimax? So I think it was a 15 or 14 game slate. It was on Friday, so it was a huge slate. And then I went in on like 6 or 7 teams. I think the Dodgers, Diamondbacks, and another team. It was the Rockies against Newcomb, actually, was one of them. And those teams were all like 1 to 3% owned. And maybe the Diamondbacks were a little bit more, I think. And so I had 10 to 15% of each of them. And I mean, I crushed because all those teams did very well relative to other teams. And yeah, so you don't have to, I mean, if you like a 1% owned team and you don't want to risk everything on them, you can put in 10 or 15 or maybe even 20, 30%. It doesn't matter. Like, you can still spread your exposure around. That's the beauty of going in on a 1% team. Gary, you're G. Alexander. Yeah, you're a heck of a player. FanDuel crossover, also a Manny Stream guy. Yeah. First time seeing this lock show. Is this a typical style or does it change? So usually it's myself and Josh Engelman. So come back tomorrow, Gary. Come back tomorrow. Just tune in, see if you like it. Josh has a green screen behind him, so you can see his whole screen, and it's me and him talking. Or Chris Spags is usually on it every day with Josh or me. So we're talking DFS, we're answering questions, we're doing some stupid stuff. Just trying not to get fired by Alex and Tom. But yeah, this is basically it. I just tried to do like a makeshift Josh screen share, but it's much smoother when he's on it. So, who put baby in the corner? Is that me? I find it much easier to play at the low stakes 20 max. I've also jumped in small contests and have a decent results going bankroll. Do you find larger slates there's a lot more edge than short slates like today? Yeah, I think I do better on larger slates for MLB just because ownership is spread around, and I completely X out a bunch of teams that are going to have ownership. So like I'm a lot more likely to just I'm a lot more likely to just X out like Coors on a 15 gamer, because even if a couple other guys hit home runs, like that's not going to ruin the slate. If they're 22% owned, then that's not going to kill me. So there's still so many other teams that could score 12 runs, where if it's Coors on a 4-game slate, it's a little bit tougher to fade if the Rockies have a 6.7 total. You know what I'm saying? So it's the best way to start out. Michael L, love to hear that. Yeah, that's what we're trying to do. Just like build a bankroll a little bit. Try to get up into this MME stuff. I mean, the goal is to be like Osmo, right? So yeah. Just keep building your way up. Stay within your limits, and yeah, just try to learn DFS as you go. Try to stick to a sport or two that you think you know a little bit about, and watch streams. I mean, it doesn't have to be this stream, although we'd like you to be here and watch and participate. But yeah, that's exactly what we're looking to do, is kind of help the beginners get to the next level a little bit. Oh, T5, you remember at Osmo? Nice. I didn't know that. Without giving away everything, do you factor in ownership of teams? Yeah, so Josh refers to it as aggregate ownership. And yeah, I'll reply to a DM. Yeah, as long as it's not like hey, what do you think of my team? You know, so what was I just answering? I get so distracted on these streams. When's Tom gonna come on the show? I don't know if he will. He's more behind the scenes guy. Tom is a hell of a player himself. Without giving away everything, do you factor in ownership of teams? Yeah, Josh calls it aggregate ownership. Yes, I do. I really, that's like, I'm looking more at team ownership than on the individual level on a big slate. So like on Friday, I think Machado was supposed to be, it was against LeBlanc, and Machado was supposed to be like 8% on a 15 gamer, which is decent, right? So they were like 8 or 10%. So the rest of the team though, like they had all these other good righties, and we had our projections, and they were projected to be like 3 and 2 and 1% owned. So I was like, man, well, I mean, I think Machado's a good play, so why wouldn't I think Justin Turner and Chris Taylor and Matt Kemp and so whoever was in the lineup? Like, these guys are all, like, they're not as good plays as Machado, but they're still solid. So that's how I'm looking at ownership as a whole on the team, not necessarily just individual players, if that answers your question at all. All right, see you, T5. Did you do NBA? No, I'm the NHL guy. Josh does NBA. Chris does NBA. We will have some of the Fan Advice guys hopefully doing NBA as well. I missed college DFS. Yeah. I was not playing college. I mean, I was around for that. Like, I was in college when that was going on, and I was just like dabbling in DFS when it was still around. But yeah, never really got into it. I should. I mean, there's got to be an edge in college football, right? With news and stuff. So that's something I'll look into, but I'm not going to become like a pro overnight. Stack percentage on the Marlins. Are we locked yet, or do we still have a few more minutes? Do you guys know? Well, I mean, obviously you know. Oh, 7:10 Eastern. Okay, we got a few more. Sack percentage on the Marlins. Can you guys see this? I think you can probably see this, right? 4-man stacks, so I'm going to be over on that. And then I got a bunch of 3-mans, 11% 3-man stacks on Miami as well. Okay. All right. You guys are on it. You guys are on it. Is there Cruncher for NFL? Yeah, there's Cruncher for NFL. So I'm going to be using that. I mean, I don't have my own projections. Yeah, I'm gonna definitely dabble in some college DFS. So yeah, Brian Anderson I have a ton of. Fox Corey. Or a ton relatively. I need to say relatively because like a ton, like, you know, if you got 30% on Stanton and you say you have a ton, like that, to me that means like 70%. But if you have like a ton of Anderson, Brian Anderson needs 4% and you have 25, that's way more to me. Just timesing the ownership by how much you have. Does Josh use the same cruncher for MLB and NFL? I mean, he uses Fantasy Cruncher, yeah. This is what I have on the screen. You've won a lot on NHL, not to toot your own horn, of course. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, NHL is probably my best sport, but not probably. It is. It is my best sport, like by far. I felt like I thought I was good at MLB last year, or like pretty decent, but this year I think I've learned a ton just from working here and being able to pick Alex's brain and Josh's brain and Tom's, and so I've definitely become a much better baseball player, and I think MME is a good way for me to go in baseball. And I've been single entry for NHL, but I'm going to get into MME for NHL, and hopefully my game can translate, and hopefully it can bring you guys along for the ride. So NHL streams will be fun. I mean, we'll have a smaller crowd for sure, a little bit more what's the word, intimate crowd. So we'll be able to chat and we'll get to know each other if you guys are in the NHL live streams. So hopefully we'll have some help from some others, maybe some of the FanVice guys. I don't know the status on that just yet, but I know FanVice has a really sick NHL staff. So you guys got any suggestions? Playing NBA and NHL is going to be tough. Yeah, you might want to switch off like days, because they kind of do it where NBA is big Monday, Wednesday, Friday, right? Or especially Wednesday, Friday, right? And NHL is Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday are like the big slates. So kind of be tough to go back and forth and get in the right mindset. But I mean, I've tried it before, but I suck at NBA, so I'm not going to pretend like I'm any good. Hamilton or Inciarte? Let's see. I'm being intimate if you want to chat. Yeah. That probably sounded pretty creepy, huh? I've got more Inciarte, but they're pretty close. Not that close, actually. 18-11. All right, well, are we locked? Because my girlfriend is waiting outside the door. She's probably not too pleased with me. She's been there for 15 minutes, I guess. And I just saw that now. I don't know. What should I say to her, guys? Because I may be in some trouble here. I told her I had a live stream, so am I in the wrong? I'm probably in the wrong. Jake, does NFL have late news? Yeah. We will. Oh, Mavin Goose, is that you? Yeah. So I'm gonna come on at about 6:30 is the plan on the live stream, and just talk for 5 to 10 minutes about any like late scratches for NHL, because that's when the first slate locks, or the first game's lock, like right at 6 on the dot. So same time as NBA. I won't take away like late scratch time for NBA. Gonna be very careful about that. It'll be like right at 5:30. I'll be able to see if any pregame skates changed or anything, and then any other news that had changed since the time of the live stream. So Thursdays are for the boys. Oh, you guys are funny. All right, we're locked now, right? We're locked. All right, guys, I got to get out of here. I'll see you back in the morning. Thanks to Alex for joining us. Thank you guys for being such an active chat and making my job a lot easier. So, I'm always a little nervous to do these solo shows, but a few minutes in, you guys make me feel a lot better. And so I hope I answered your questions well. And we'll see you in the morning. Enjoy. We will be counting our money tomorrow morning, hopefully. All right. Thanks, guys. Good luck.